I suspect most of you already know this, but leprosy in the Bible is not the same as leprosy in our terminology today. Today, leprosy is called Hansen's disease, where your extremities shrivel up and fall off, exposing the nerves and so on. In the Bible, leprosy is any skin condition that we would not label today as leprosy. It could be some kind of an infection, or a boil, or a burn, or a fungus, or a mold, or dry skin, scaly skins. I have dry skin, so I might be labeled a leper. But they were afraid of all those skin conditions because they thought they were all contagious. Now remember, this is the era of Moses, 1,200 years before Jesus. Could you ever imagine a year ago that we would have this kind of a year where we think everybody is contagious? We're afraid of everybody. We don't come close, we don't touch. And read the book of Leviticus, like starting about chapter 10, just a few chapters, because it goes through the list of all these leprosies. And if somebody was a leper, they had to be quarantined, and that word's in the Bible. They had to be quarantined outside the camp until it was cured or they died. So that's what we're talking about. But again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm always telling all of us, think deeper, because we're not just talking about some external skin disease. We're talking about a deeper leprosy that I believe touches all of us. It certainly touches me. The way we think, the things we value. Think about our society today. Who do you think is polluting our society? Who do you think is weakening the moral fibers of America? Because that's really what we're arguing about. And so many people are convinced that certain things are weakening our moral fiber, and you cannot even discuss them because it's just impossible. I'm talking about people, for instance, who are drug addicts or in prison, or other races of people, or other nationalities, other religions. Even within our Catholic religion, we have the right and the left, and we can't even talk to each other. Immigrants, people with different sexual orientation, other social classes, people who don't think the way we think. And let's be honest, we all think that our thinking is the only way. That's some of the leprosy that, like I said already, I think all of us suffer from in some degree or other. Because our society has insiders and outsiders. And we want to define who is in and who is out. But then even go a step deeper. What about inside of us? Besides the way we think, our experiences of life. For instance, do you overreact in many instances? Or are you overly anxious? I think we all know people like that. But it could be a person we see in the mirror. What about people that ourselves, perhaps, we could be in a difficult relationship? We have somebody in our home or our family or our associations that we have difficulty relating to. That could be part of our modern, deeper leprosy. Maybe we're harboring unforgiveness attitudes or resentment. Maybe we've been hurt by love. Or maybe we're struggling with some internal, long-standing, sinful attitude that we're still struggling with. That could be some of that deeper leprosy. So what is Jesus' response to this? Jesus comes, and I repeated it in the gospel, he touched the man. Don't miss, that's the most important part of the gospel. Because by Jesus touching the man, Jesus became contaminated. Just like we don't touch each other, because we don't want to get contaminated. But Jesus was willing to do this. Now remember, Jesus is the presence of God. Incarnation. We believe God became human through the person of Jesus. But Jesus didn't come just into this world as an isolated God figure. He was willing to enter the depth of human troubles, sickness, and misery. That's what it says, that he touched the man. He wanted to enter fully into this man's life. Just like I mentioned all of the possible leprosies that we might have, Jesus wants to enter them with us. He wants to touch them so that he can heal us. However, if you heard the gospel, Jesus told the man, don't tell anybody. Because Jesus doesn't want followers just because he can cure them. Jesus doesn't want us as disciples just for what he can do for us. He wants disciples that can take on his mission. So just as Jesus is willing to touch us, to touch the very depths of human problems, we too are challenged to touch the problems of our society. We are not just to remain isolated, quarantined. We're challenged to become involved in the problems of our world. And Jesus wants us to go out and touch those problems, whether they're societal or whether they're personal. That's the challenge. I wrote in the bulletin article this week about my column about we should bring into Lent, is Wednesday. We should bring into Lent Valentine's Day love, because that's a love that is extended to others. So often when we think about doing Lenten penances, immediately we think about giving up candy or booze or whatever. Who's to benefit from that? It's us. Think of Lenten penances now, where you, all of us, can make life better for those around us, that can make life better for our society. That's true self-denial. Because we're here not to serve ourselves, but to serve others. That's what Paul was talking about in the second reading. Paul was saying there that he can do things that are legal, but if they affect others incorrectly, he will not do them. That's us. There's many things we can do, but they might affect others negatively. We should not do them. Jesus wants disciples to be like he is, to touch the problems of the world and to bring his presence into it. A presence of unselfish love. That's Valentine's Day love. Prepare for Lent by loving others more fully. That will bring us to a real resurrection at Easter. Thank you for watching this week's homily here at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. We invite you to join us for liturgy any weekend that you might be in the area. You can contact us at mysaintelizabeth.com or on Facebook. Thank you very much.